What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dory Wormy. And in the latest round of video game controversies, this one actually kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was not expecting it, and I don't blame players for being apprehensive about what's going on. But what is going on is probably what you're asking. Well, Ghost of Tsushima, super successful game. It's sold over 13 million units as of right now, according to some metrics. When we come over to Steam DB, it is sitting at an all-time peak of 77,000 players. This is an uber successful game. This has always been an uber successful game. Game of the year, tons of awards, perfect editions, all sorts of stuff. Players rave about this game and find it to be a beautiful story, a beautiful game, and because of that, it's no real shocker that they decided to put out a sort of sequel to the actual game in the form of Ghost of Yotei. And players notice something. Our main character, our main protagonist, is female. And through this, people decided has the game gone woke? Ghost of Tsushima sequel receives mixed reactions from gamers as game features female protagonists. And I've seen a few people myself say that this is a Sucker Punch going woke. This is evidence of Sucker Punch going woke. It's evidence of them taking their leftist stride from a game that everybody loved and thought was beautiful and amazing. They're now going to be injecting a female main character into it. And as a person that never really played the game myself, from what I see here, I don't blame gamers for being apprehensive, but everything I'm seeing, I don't see a woke bone in it. I don't see anything about this actually being woke. All I see is a female main protagonist. I don't see anything else right now. Now, what I will say is I don't blame people for being apprehensive at all. In the modern era, being apprehensive about any of these games is the correct move and the correct path forward, because so often we get bit in the butt by these companies. So often we find out that they actually hate our guts and that they're going to be delivering us subpar products that is filled with intersectional feminism and ideology up the wazoo, and it just ruins the game. So I don't blame people for being apprehensive, but from what I'm seeing as of right now, I'm not noticing any of the controversy here. I'm not noticing anything, and people do seem to be just reacting to the fact the main character seems to be a female, which, again, you're perfectly fine and reacting that way. But I saw two tweets, and I want to bring up these two tweets before we get into something that might actually be a problem for this game. As from Heel versus Babyface put out a very, very good take, and then also we got Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers who also put out a very, very good take. But Ghost of Tsushima was an excellent game, beautifully presented with wonderful characters and a strong driving narrative. Some of those stories involve people that think or act differently from ourselves, but when told well and in good faith, those stories can work well. Ghost of Tsushima was very well received by gamers and the country of Japan, who were so impressed with the respect shown that the Western developers were honored as ambassadors of the island itself. High praise indeed. I expect Ghosts of Yotei to be no different. Sucker Punch have set themselves a high bar in terms of quality and expectations. I trust they want wholeheartedly to follow through on that. Gamers don't hate female protagonists nor female characters. They hate bad written characters and stories in general. They hate insecurity and forced ideologies where they shouldn't fit or belong. I, for one, am looking forward to this sequel, and I expect it to be, at the very least, of the same quality as its incredible predecessor. And I think that's a fine stance. I think that's a perfectly normal stance, and I think this is a good thing to recognize. The previous game was really good. They did such a good job with the previous game, and again, I don't blame you for being apprehensive, but as of right now, I would say curious is one thing, wondering where they might go, but I think for the most part, they've set this major bar. They are not showing any sign of anything being out of bounds as of yet, and they're probably going to keep producing good, high quality content for you. And gamers love attractive, female, actually strong, not ma woman strong. We're talking about Laura Crofts. We're talking about I'm gonna use Vi from League of Legends. Okay? Vi is a good example. We're talking about characters like that that are strong in their own right, know how to be strong in their own right, know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and rise to the occasion. And I'm gonna keep using League of Legends for a little bit here, but follow me. A show I really like, Arcane. Love Arcane. And I know this is a show, not gaming, but follow me here. Arcane has Vi from League of Legends, who is a lesbian, has a shaved head, dyed hair, boxes and beats people up, has a kind of a tough, demeaning woman attitude most of the time, filled with all the diverse characters that people love and rant and rave about. And the show's fantastic. Why? Stories about just beautiful. Characters are actually strong characters. Vi, for instance, gets raised by a very good dad. Goes, fights people, obviously. Gets her shit kicked in. Actually faces true adversity, actually faces true challenges, and has to overcome them. We see narratives that actually work here, and you can do this perfectly fine. You can do all this stuff perfectly fine, but you have to have your characters good, and you have to have the narrative good. That's the key to doing all this. So I agree with Az wholeheartedly, and I also agree with Jeremy. It says, said on my stream today, I do not think that the new Ghost of Yotei game looks woke based on what we have actually seen in the trailer for the marketing. Regardless of what my opinion might be, I still think every single person has the right to question every single thing coming out of entertainment industry based on what we have been seeing for the last decade. None of these companies deserve our optimism. They have to earn it into discussion. And I am perfectly respectful of that. I'm perfectly respectful of being apprehensive and being questionable about what's actually going on. Being apprehensive about content is a smart strategy. If you're starting to see stuff that you don't really think is right, if you're starting to feel that knot in your stomach that, hey, maybe this is going on a route that I don't agree with, don't immediately jump on the it's gone woke bandwagon, but, be apprehensive, be questionable, start being discerning, discerning with your intake of products, of entertainment. Question, is it actually going the way that I think it is, or is it going a way that I don't want it to go? That is perfectly fine. And it's a-okay to do in the modern era of gaming, especially when we come over here to this. Ghosts of Yotei protagonist is voiced by a radical activist, Erika Ishii, who thinks the police are white supremacists and supports transgender ideology. Our main character is already voiced by a crazy lady. So you already have a radical activist as your main protagonist. This isn't a good start. This isn't a good step forward, and this makes gamers more apprehensive, especially when we start going through some of what she's said. Black Girls Code. Great programs, coding camps, and partnerships with schools to empower, teach, and provide opportunities for Black girls in tech. A Black trans collective that helps pay for rent and gender-affirming surgery. And the Black LGBTQ community. We also have today, please consider supporting at For the Growlers, whatever, a Black trans-led nonprofit. A Black trans siblings are especially vulnerable now, and I donated in honor of Juneteenth 2023 and Pride 2023. But please join me in pledging to do our best to support Black justice year-round. We also had I used to love Harry Potter, went to every midnight release, cosplayed, was even in a Harry Potter themed improv group. Now, I'm happy to instead support and be a part of fantasy narratives where all are welcome. Trans community, we deserve our better magic. I will always fight for that. Muting, but wanted to reiterate, trans rights are human rights. I ask that instead of replying to negative comments, to turn the effort towards positive action, a donation, sharing / supporting trans creators and trans joy, or checking in with your trans friends and their happiness. Now, everything I see here are red flags. Red flags all around. I don't blame people for worrying, especially with a radical person like this. Somebody that has no problem tweeting whatever they think on their political opinions and their political positions. I have no issue with people having these red flags because this is a legitimate red flag. The way to fix this is for Sucker Punch to come out here, take one look at her, and say, shut up. Don't tweet about politics. Don't comment on politics. Don't tweet about any of these things. Shut up. Silence. We want this game to do well. We want all of this to work perfectly. So shut up. You know what you can also do? You can also take the Geeks and Gamers approach, where she's saying what she's saying on her Twitter because that's what she believes. None of her politics, none of her opinions, none of what she believes in is impacting our game. Our game is our game. She does not speak on behalf of our game. Her opinion has nothing to do with our game. We are making our game. And as long as she leaves her politics away from our game, we'll be fine. The moment she starts trying to promote the game and pushing her own politics, you know what? Then you tell her, shut the hell up, delete it. Shut the hell up, delete what you just posted. We're trying to sell a game. We're trying to give gamers what they want, and we're trying to do good by gamers. Good by the content we have already established. Being apprehensive and scared of this chick being a part of this game, 100% legitimate. I don't blame anybody for having this issue. I don't blame anybody for having the issue about the main character. But as it stands right now, I see nothing woke here. I see no issues going on here. Take it one step at a time. It's the easiest way. Because if we immediately run to the, it's woke, it's woke, it's woke, and there's nothing woke in it, you end up hurting what it means to have something be woke. A good person that actually said this was Actman recently. He did a debate with Andy Pants Gaming, and he said something that is super profound, actually, and something that I have actually taken a liking to actually think about. The boy that cried woke is what he called it. And it was, everybody always jumps really quick to say everything's woke. Everything's woke. You're always going to come out here and say that this is woke, this is woke, this is woke, this is woke. And what it turns out, it's not really woke. And what happens is you diminish the term woke. And when something is legitimately woke, like Concord, Dustborn, things of that nature, people go like, yeah, but you called Ghost of freaking Yotei woke. You called this woke. You called that woke. And these weren't woke at all. You start hurting that. You start hurting these aspects. And it's just things to take in mind, things to recognize, things to take note of. Not everything's always woke. Not everything's always pushing the ideology. Arcane, perfect example, not really pushing the ideology. The ideology's there. You can see they're based some of their things off the ideology. But for the most part, the show's not woke, doesn't push their agenda. And people love that. People care about that. But people were apprehensive about that at the beginning too. And then it turned out to be fantastic. So apprehensive is one thing, but calling everything woke out the gate, personally, I find that wrong. I don't think that's the correct move to go forward. And have your fears, have your worries, have your, I'm going to watch you. But if it's a good game, it's a good game. And I pray that it's a good game. I pray that we get something better than Ghost of Tsushima. I pray that we get something fan-freaking-tastic that gets all the claim again, all the amazing situations that go on. And I hope that our good friend Sucker Punch become ambassadors for yet another area of Japan, and Japan greets them with accolades once more. That's what I'm hoping for this, and I'm optimistic about what's going to be coming out here. But again, have your apprehensions. That's perfectly fine. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it up, friends, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video live, guys, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.